Okay, so there are a few inaccuracies in your Module 4 overview, and I wanted to say a few things about, the marginal analysis in particular, because that's where the mistakes are, and, just give you a few extra pointers from what the text says, right? So, you have two equations in there. One of them is the cost equation, right? And one of them is the revenue equation. And we'll get into, a little bit of the calculations. But first of all, right, whenever in economics, whenever you see marginal is just an economics term for derivative. Yeah, so if it says marginal, it's just another way of saying take the derivative. Second observation that I would like to make is see that the cost is a linear equation. Yeah, it's a linear equation. But the revenue equation is not. It's a quadratic, right? Quadratic. Yeah. So that has some implications. The other thing that I would like to make is point that I would like to make is the interpretation of these marginals. It always means the cost or the revenue or the profit of one extra item. So one extra item. Yeah. So you might you might say, what do you mean, like the cost of one extra item? Like if I buy 2 bottles of Coke, it's gonna cost me. So what the cost for the second bottle of Coke was is gonna be the same thing as the cost for the third bottle of Coke that I buy, right? Yeah, and you are right to up to a certain point, right? So if we look at the cost equation, yeah, that's the equation for the cost. And yes, if you were to graph this equation, then indeed, right, it's a line. So then let's say you buy 0 bottles of Coke, 1 bottle of Coke, 2 bottles of Coke, right? Well, yeah, if I buy 0 bottles of Coke, it's just going to cost me 1,000. Right? Remember, maybe maybe that's your cost of getting to the store, for example. I mean, I'm just giving an example. Maybe it's very expensive to get to the store for some reason. If you buy 1 bottle of Coke, right, then it's gonna be an extra. It's gonna be an extra $40. Yeah. If you buy 2 bottles of Coke, that's gonna be an extra $80, right? So your marginal cost here, yeah, every time you buy an extra, is $40 extra, right? So yeah, that makes sense. On the other hand, let's look at the revenue, right? The revenue equation is a quadratic, yes? If I look at the graph of this equation, it looks a little bit different, and this actually goes through 0 here. Yeah, so it looks a little bit different. See, it's a curve, right? So now if I do the same kind of calculations, let's see, the revenue, right, when I sell 0 items, right? Well, it's 0 squared plus 20 times 0, that's 0. Yeah. If I sell 1 item, well, things change, right? That's $21, right? So see the difference? Well, we'll get back to that in a second. But let's say now I sell 2 items. what happens now? Now I have 4 plus 40, that's 44, right? So that's how much extra I made from selling one item. That's how much extra I made from selling the second item, right? So now this varies. This marginal revenue varies.